Thursday morning in the city of Abeokuta, the Olumorok state like it used to be and it has remained. My name is Moriri Rabila Lawal on your program Newspaper Headlines Today on your darling channel station, which is BGI TV Current. We are on and set to make it a smooth ride. And I'm having with me in the house a colleague whose name is
Olalekan Ige. My pleasure and a wonderful morning to everyone out there.
From all across Nigeria and possibly from the north, from the south and within, we've been having a tremendous wetty rain between the mid-morning and now, and some people are still experiencing such blessings from God Almighty. I pray that if you're going out driving in the rain, make sure your wipers are working on your screen of your vehicle, and make sure if you're using your leg as a pedestrian, kindly use your umbrella for you to save yourself from the rain itself. It's a natural calling. We can't avoid that. Now I'll be starting with the Vanguard newspaper on the rider. Presidential poll drama as Labour Party factions clash at tribunal.
And in the leadership, when I took office, 8 local governments were controlled by criminals, says Soludo.
Alright, from the Vanguard I go straight to the Punch newspaper with the rider. PDP, Labour Party kick as US Secretary of State calls Tinubu.
And in prime time, I have Yaya Bello led Kogi government approved establishment of second university.
Wow, it's coming on a breaking on that. Yes, I regret backing Tambuwal to become speaker. The person speaking this morning is about to be known.
Mango killings, 5 suspects arrested over murder of 30 Plateau residents.
And on education, as regards JAMB, varsity admission with tears, direct entry applicants sleep rough at JAMB office.
And from Rivers State, gunmen kidnap NYSC members in Rivers, 5 escaped.
Concerning May 29, the presidential-elect inauguration, Sultan urges support for incoming governments.
And from a sad note, court remand father for allegedly raping a 16-year-old daughter in Ondo.
And from the Christian angle and mourning someone, CAN, Christian Association of Nigeria, Lagos mourns Umbag.
While also in Adamawa State, man kills his friend in Adamawa, robs him of 100,000.
And for the sport lovers all around and the boys making the betting world going gaga as it used to be, for supporters of Man City and UEFA Champions League so far, yesterday night was a very dramatic one. No one expected the result. Man City deserved to win, says Ancelotti.
And from another angle, Methodist primate Emeritus Sunday Mbank is dead.
We have a lot of newspapers headlines which we need to talk about, and we're starting with a smooth ride coming from the Vanguard as regards the drama that was on or that came up at the presidential election tribunal yesterday. Drama as Labour Party faction clash at tribunal. The story is coming fully. There was a drama at the presidential election petition court PEPC yesterday as the factional national chairman of the Labour Party, Lamidi Apapa, clashed with members of the party loyal to the presidential candidate, Mr. Peter Obi. Apapa currently entangled in a legal dispute with a comrade, Julius Abure, led LP National Executive that conducted the primary election that produced Obi as flag bearer of the party, stormed the court with some of his supporters. Immediately, the main door to the courtroom was opened and Apapa made his way to the line of chairs reserved for dignitaries and petitioners. Obi was already seated by the time Apapa attempted to take possession of one of the seats, but was blocked by members of the party, led by a man identified as LP's national youth leader. What a drama, Ige.
It's so funny. But I look at it from this angle. Do you think other people from other party will not believe that maybe Apapa was planted in Labour Party in order to divert the attention of the tribunal from the case that is ongoing in respect of the presidential election?
For me, I disagree totally because they've been together as party members before the emergence of Peter Obi as the flag bearer for the presidential election. Then number two, if the choice of Peter Obi is not well with Apapa, until after election, there's now a faction. Definitely something is wrong within the party. I want to say categorically, Apapa wasn't planted within LP, I beg your pardon. And if he was planted, definitely he's trying to say that yes, Minsho Mali, as Yoruba would say. And I would say from the mind of Apapa per se, I'm not saying categorically yes, that Apapa is trying to prove that let peace reign.
But Morire, I was like, now there is another faction because this crisis has led to the division in the party. And if you look at it, Obi faction were, clamoring that they are going to review so many things, that Apapa was a kind of trying to connive with external body to make sure that the case at the tribunal does not go on smoothly in order for it to favor the presidential elect.
Okay, if you are talking about that part, I want you to remember one thing, that if Apapa is planted to favoring President-elect Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Apapa never raised eyebrows for fighting or going violently. It was the obedience that triggered the drama at the Petition Election Tribunal yesterday. Because the story has it that his cap was removed by unknown person, but the camera captured it. Number one. Then number two, they stopped him from accessing his car. They stopped him from speaking with the journalist as he planned to. They stopped him from sitting close to the flag bearer of the LP, who is Peter Obi. All of these things, are they truly obedient? I'm not against anyone, but by your motion, by your motto, by what you carry as residents or as Nigerians supporting the LP's party, and you tag yourself obedient, why going on with violence? We have to ourselves 100% freedom of expression, freedom of choice. So I see no reason why they should attack Apapa. I'm not supporting Apapa, but I'm only speaking from my own view. That's my take on that.
Okay, I think as the issue continues, we'll see more unfolding events.
Exactly.
As they go by. Let's look at this from Anambra State. They said, Chukwuma Soludo, governor of Anambra State, says 8 local governments in the state were under siege by hoodlums when he assumed office. Soludo spoke on Tuesday at the induction organized by the Nigerian Governors Forum for governors-elect at the Presidential Villa, Abuja. In recent years, the Southeast has been grappling with insecurity characterized by killings and adoptions linked to the indigenous people of Biafra, the IPOB, a proscribed separatist group. However, IPOB has repeatedly denied being responsible for attacks, insisting that its self-determination agenda is done peacefully. Now, Morire, when we look at the Southeast, we discover that for a long time, the place has become a battleground between the IPOB, based on the fact that they are clamoring that they want to gain their own independence, they want to be out of Nigeria and things like that. Now, if you come to look at it, based on what Soludo said, that before he assumed office, that 8 local governments were controlled by criminals, then what was the responsibility of the previous governor that was in office?
And the previous governor is not the person. But I can't remember his name per se, but all the same, Nigerian governance and government, for me, my question still goes with what I said yesterday on the program, that if truly these governors, these ministers, these senators, this chairman knows exactly what they are doing, these senators, how can you tell me as number one citizen of a state, and you cannot make sure that all the criminal elements within the state are brought to book? If not you as a governor using them as mercenary. Secondly, if by the claim of the present governor of the state, former CBN governor, Charles Soludo,
Yes.
if he claims that, definitely he knows what he's saying. Because if there is no record concerning what he has to say as his own assertion, he wouldn't speak out by saying all of these things.
Exactly.
Because these Nigerian politicians, let me just say, Nigerian politicians, they implant machineries to their own favor. But they will be giving these machineries 1 naira per se, and they are having millions to themselves. But when a governor now comes in, a new government now comes in with vision and mission against the outgoing or outgone administration, definitely there will be a clash, because there is no comparison between lightning and darkness.
Okay, Moriri, can we look at it from this perspective? You know that the allocation that goes from the federal to the state level also includes what we call the security vote for each governor of the state.
Definitely.
So can we now say that the governor of Anambra, as at then, before the assumption of Chukwuma Soludo as a governor, what has gone wrong with the security vote? And why is it that the governor has not really taken it as deem it fit to make sure that the life of the life and property of the people of the state are fundamental to him?
The answer for me, or from me, is that many of these security votes, payments and thereabout, it's been siphoned and abused, in the sense that, how can you tell me a state gets security vote from federal government and all they could do is to just talk about the money is not being spent judiciously as expected? Take a look at what is happening to the presidency itself. Calculation of the money given to Buhari per month as the president of the nation. Calculation of some of the expenses which most Nigerians don't even know, except we will find them in the publications. Allowance for wardrobe, allowance for traveling, allowance for this, allowance for that. The most annoying, allowance for hazard. As a normal Nigerian, what has happened to Buhari? All of the medical trips, is it not being sorted out from the Nigerian coffers?
Exactly.
All of the feedings, all of the clothing, is it not from the Nigerian coffers?
Exactly.
So what hazard has happened to Buhari not now come to state level, with the whole security vote, everything was siphoned? Now, if you are saying you are paying a president for damages and hazard, what about those Nigerians that the bandits have been killing their family members,
Destroying their farms.
destroying their crops on their farms? Nigeria has become a dramatical realm that a bandit will send a warning to a community under a living governor, a living chairman, a living senator, and House of Reps in Abuja, saying, I'm representing my constituency, and you are doing nothing to safeguard the lives of your poor people within the village where you come from. And categorically, there was something that happened, I think, KB State, during the last election, concerning, is it House of Assembly within the state, I think. Either state or the federal level, I can't really remember. A 22-year-old lady, one from Kwara State and one from KB State. But the guy in particular, the time the young boy was 5 years of age, the Honorable Speaker, Right Honorable Speaker in that state, assumed office. And since then, he has remained the Right Honorable Speaker of the state till this year. As soon as this young boy, I'm talking about, was 5, the Honorable Speaker assumed office, the guy was threatened because he asked and queried all of the constitutional projects you have been putting on publications that you are doing to your community and your constituency. Can we have the proof? The young boy of 20 plus was arrested, was molested and abused of his fundamental human rights. He stayed at the police station for some period of days before his bail and release. His people now said, okay, young man, you have been doing something tremendously, which the Right Honorable Speaker of Kebbi State failed to do. We are buying you this form for you to go to the House of Assembly and represent us. Because the young man kept on doing so many selfless humanitarian services to his people. Number one, creation of school, farming, selling of fishes. The money he earned from there, he feeds his community by so doing. They see him as a Messiah.
Exactly.
And they believe in him. Do you know now? Do you know what happened? The same Right Honorable Speaker and some other people within the states went after him.
They connived.
Yes, went after him. Gave him money to drop his ambition.
Wow.
He kept telling them, go and meet my people that bought the form for me. Eventually, this same young boy that was 5 years old when this Right Honorable Speaker became the Speaker of the state, defeated the Right Honorable Speaker.
Wow. Wow.
If this can happen in the north,
Exactly.
where we feel there is no education,
Exactly.
where we feel they are
Exactly.
they have neglected Western education, why can't such happen in the southeast or south or southwest?
Exactly. Exactly.
It's just like a uniform from the southwest, especially where you have the same caucus having a continual administration in government.
Well, Morire, I think what you just said now, make us understand that Nigeria is coming of age in terms of government and politics.
Yes.
And I think it will be a lesson to others across
The
the
nation.
federation.
Yes.
So it's a wonderful one as the boy has, be able to gain the opportunity to represent his people.
Exactly.
And that's exactly why we say that, we need people that have the passion to impact lives of
Yes.
people in the House, in the National Assembly. And again, if you look at just like what you said, I think Humai, the former governor, who is now a senator,
Yes.
said something related to that yesterday in a sister station
Yes.
when he was interviewed by Channels Television.
Okay.
He said that there should be a period of time for every candidate that wants to be elected either to the National Assembly or to the State Assembly. Maybe after their 4, 5, or 8 years, they should leave for others to come in. Because, the more you allow them to stay, the more they become something else.
Exactly.
So that's it. It's a wonderful one.
And to complement or to add up to what Governor Soludo said, he claimed he corrected the dysfunctional security system in the state and liberated the LGAs. It's a wonderful one. If all governors within that region can go with his mandates concerning insecurity in the state. He also said governors need a strong and independent security system to tackle insecurity in their domains. He is preaching on how they can form a very magnanimous unit to making sure that yes, insecurity is controlled, is balanced. And I think for those of us who are governors and governors-elect, a major concern that we need to get onto is the national security architecture. If Nigeria as a state can have national security architecture working, definitely there will be balance against insurgency in the country.
Exactly.
Let's go to the next story as regards the program, which is newspaper headlines today on BGI TV Current. I'm going to the Punch newspaper. There is this calling and yearnings from PDP and LP. The People's Democratic Party and the Labour Party on Wednesday expressed anger over the telephone conversation between the United States Secretary of State Antony Blinken and the President-elect Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Blinken pledged stronger ties between the US and Nigeria during a 20-minute telephone call to Tinubu, who is in France. The US Department of State spokesperson Matthew Miller in a statement said Blinken spoke with the President-elect on Tuesday. The development came 24 hours after the Joe Biden administration announced the imposition of visa restrictions on Nigerians who allegedly disrupted the recently concluded elections. The US said the affected persons were involved in voter theft, result manipulation, physical violence, and other activities that undermine democracy. This call and total rejection from PDP and LP. For me, I want to say that they are only crying after the wins.
Exactly.
And they are against what the US has deemed it fit necessary and expected or wanting against Nigeria's democracy. If U.S. Secretary could give a call to Tinubu in France, of what effect is that to PDP and LP?
Well, if you look at it, I will say that maybe they base it on the fact that it was based on the comments of the foreign observers when they came for the election, that maybe there had been a lot of manipulation and things like that in the election, and they don't even expect that the US will now extend the hand of fellowship towards the newly elected president-elect. But the truth of the matter is, I see the call as a welcome development, with the fact that it's going to go a long way to show us the kind of bilateral agreement
between US and Nigeria.
Exactly, that they are trying to bring up between US and Nigeria. And I believe that, if we can work hand in hand, it's going to go a long way to help Nigeria in terms of development and other areas.
All right. It's a good one from US, but for me, Nigerians love beating around the bush and not facing realities. Now, the next story is coming that I regret backing Tambuwal to become speaker. The Speaker of the House of Representatives, Femi Gbadabiamila, has expressed regret over his support for a forum that championed the emergence of Aminu Tambuwal as Speaker of the House and the 7th National Assembly. Tambuwal is now an outgoing two-term governor of Sokoto State. I regret it, Gbadabiamila stated while recalling the previous attempt by speakership aspirant to oppose the chosen candidates of their respective parties. What is your take again?
Well, if you look at that issue, you come to realize that there has been a lot of opera in terms of the case of why the relationship between Tambuwal and Gbadabiamila, and Tambuwal at the same time and Wike had gone so. Why? Because if you look at it, there was a time the southern governors held a forum, they had a meeting, and they have to meet with their northern counterpart.
Yeah.
And the conclusion was that, okay, after the tenure of President Muhammadu Buhari, the next president will be coming from the south. But it was a surprise to Gbadabiamila and Wike when Tambuwal was going ahead to give the full support to Atiku Abubakar. And they were like, that was not exactly what we discussed. And as at that point in time, Tambuwal was the governors, the head of the governors forum, the leader of the governors forum as at then.
Yeah.
So I think that was the origin of where their misunderstanding and their crisis started from. And you also know that Gbadabiamila is one of the loyalties to the president-elect and things like that.
Yes.
So it's not a surprise thing.
All right. Moving on to the next rider, as regards inauguration come May 29, Sultan urges support for incoming government. The Sultan of Sokoto, Alhaji Muhammadu Saad Abubakar, has said that nothing can stop the inauguration of the president-elect Bola Ahmed Tinubu on May 29, noting that all Nigerians should support the incoming government to succeed. Abubakar stated these while seeking prayers for the success of Tinubu's administration during a roundtable meeting with traditional and religious rulers. The meeting was organized by the World Bank on Wednesday in Abuja. Your own opinion as regards this calling?
Well, just like what the Sultan said, is to endorse and at the same time to also awaken Nigerians to make sure that we should all come together. We should not see ourselves as a different entity. We are one. And if we can all give our support to the incoming president-elect, it's going to go a long way to help him to succeed when he gets to power.
All right, I go with your take as regards that coming from the Saad Abubakar, the Sultan of Sokoto, urging support for incoming government. Let's go straight to Lagos as regards the current story you have with you there before I back it up from my side here.
Okay, in the Lagos, we talk about the Methodists. Now, we said the Primate Emeritus of the Methodist Church of Nigeria and first black president of the World Methodist Council, Dr. Sunday Kofi Mbang, has died. He was 86 years, the first president, Christian Association of Nigeria of Methodist Church extraction. According to family source, died Tuesday night in his sleep after a brief illness. The late Primate Emeritus has not been out for any public function of late. What an unfortunate story. And for that matter, the first black. So to some extent, to me, we should give it to him. You know, we have a lot of Nigerians like that been, had the opportunity to occupy as the pioneer of different organization, association, and people have been saying good things and commenting about
R.I.P. as Khan Lagos Mons Umbang. From there, let's go straight to sports story. I have this interesting one, which is still a drama to many football supporters all around the globe. Real Madrid coach Carlo Ancelotti has admitted that Manchester City deserve to win the match because they played better. As Madrid, a painful 4-0 loss at Manchester City on Wednesday night. The win completed a 5-1 aggregate defeat for Real Madrid in the Champions League semi-final. Manchester City, who were beaten by Real Madrid at the same stage last season, avenged that heartbreaking defeat with a brilliant performance in front of the jubilant fans. Only Real Madrid goalkeeper Thibaut Courtois prevented them from inflicting even more damage. They played better than us and deserve to win, says Carlo Ancelotti. I know you for a, let me say, a passive football supporter, but all the same, do you have idea about the Champions League and the win last night, Ige?
Well, not really much, but I know that the winner takes it all.
Exactly.
The winner takes it all.
All right, the next story from your side, Ige.
Okay, from this side, we want to look at the story of Yaya Bello-led Kogi governor approves establishment of second university. The Kogi state government has announced the approval of another state university proposed to be located in the Kogi Western Senatorial District, attesting that the essence, among many other things, was the need to provide more educational facility for the young university hopeful in the state. This makes it the second university to be established by the Yaya Bello administration. Making the announcement, the State Commissioner for Education, Science and Technology, Wemi Jones, hinted that the process would involve inauguration of a 15-man implementation. But the question is, we are creating more universities. There is no crime about that. But the graduates, where are the jobs out there for them?
My question, or my response to that question, is that creation of universities is not the next thing Nigeria needs. From the ones we have existing till date, how many of them is testing a good structural development, the basics of education? How many of them stands hand to hand or body to body to international universities? How many of them gives quality education? If we are having a great graduates from schools, where are the jobs? Where is the job security? Where are the basic needs? Nigeria used to be a country where the jobs are already waiting for you as a graduates. Likes of our fathers and grandpas in their days. The golden opportunity are waiting for you with even a car, a very modernized home for you to live. But take, for example, a graduate in school to read 4 years is having almost 8 years in school.
Exactly.
The ASU strike is there. Why won't they go on strike? When their incentives are not met, when their fundamental things are not paid.
You know what you said
time.
just remind me of the statement made by Obiyo Sikwesele, the former Minister of Education, when she said that Nigerian graduates are unemployable. Why are they not unemployable? Because every necessary things are not there in the school to train them, to drill them, to make them a better graduate that will go out there to compete with their counterparts from other parts of the world. So it's
another thing again, if Nigerian students can travel out of the country to Sudan, to India, in those universities that are ranked 1,000 and something in the world, leaving Nigerian universities, can you compare such university outside the country they are going for to that of Nigeria? If your home is equipped, treated well, maintained, and fed with enough expectations or dividends, like most schools these days, you hear Lagos State Polytechnic, have we celebrated a Nigerian student ahead of other West African states, except on subjects which we know individually the students has prepared his or herself.
Exactly.
What are the government doing? We keep hearing budget for education, budget for health, budget for judiciary, budget for this, budget for that. What are the physical thing
Exactly. That could be shown.
that could be shown for the
For
result
it.
for the money?
Exactly.
So all the same, Nigerian government still needs to do the needful. If someone, because it has become a frequent or usual thing after someone's tenure in the office, like few months to live in the office, that is when you see them granting a press conference.
Exactly.
That yes, I think I have done my best. I can't please all, but anyone I've hurt, they should please forgive me.
They start apologizing.
But the truth is that either of your faith, learn this: the day you enter your grave, your acts, your deeds will be like a movie scene at the cinema ground. You'll be saying it to yourself if God loves you. So as for you to rethink and do the needful before leaving the office. Just like people telling the outgoing president, Muhammadu Buhari,
Exactly.
general retired, if you claim to be a disciplinarian, how many souls got dead while in office as a president? You promised so many Nigerians, but you failed them.
Exactly.
Look at the NSAS. Even if it was staged, we don't care if it was staged. But look at the population of Nigeria.
Exactly. The atrocities.
There was one as a head of state and also a civilian president. During your own tenure, you asked them to scrap history subjects
Exactly.
from all Nigerian schools.
Exactly.
Tell me, as big as Nigeria is, as big and heterogeneous as our people are, within Nigeria and outside, if there is no history subject in our schools, we are parents now. What knowledge have some of the parents who are not or wouldn't have the access to modern education,
Exactly.
apart from elementary, can easily teach their words, their kids, their children
Transfer
about
to the coming generation.
exactly, and you call yourself a Yoruba man. I'm not surprised we have South clamoring they want to leave Nigeria.
That's it.
The Yorubas want to leave Nigeria.
You see,
Even the IPOB want to leave
Almost
Nigeria
everyone
because
is
the
clamoring.
foundation of the country was not sincerely birthed.
Exactly.
That's the
it.
truth.
That's it. And thank you for that, Moriri. I also want us to look at this this news. You know, it has been a current issue and it has been occurring for some period now. Court remind father for allegedly raping his 16-year-old daughter. That happened in Ondo State. Let's take a look at the news there. It says, a chief magistrate court in Akure has ordered that a motorcyclist, Bayo Akifenwa, to be remanded at Olokuta Correctional Center for allegedly raping his 16-year-old daughter. The incident occurred in March this year at Ayeyemi Akintunde Street in Ondo State. The defendant was Monday, May 15, 2023, arraigned on a one-count charge of rape. The police prosecutor, Super Martins Oluwafeso, told the court that the defendant committed the offense sometimes in March 2023 in his residence. Now, the charge read that you, Bayo Akinfenwa, sometimes in March at midnight at Akintunde Street in Ondo, did unlawfully have carnal knowledge of your daughter, 116 years old Akifenwa. Can you imagine that?
I'm not surprised. The thing is, there are so many people with illusions and lost living in them. Because not everyone you see as a man or woman are humans. Some are animals. In the whole wild world, where we have females cut across Nigeria, even if you didn't feel that you want to satisfy your sex urge, there are some sex workers that you could pay to
Exactly.
for the duration you want to last. Not your own child. The two religions frowns at it.
Exactly.
So what heritage is the man himself?
So absurd.
If Nigeria has a working constitution as regards judicial, such men should be dealt with
Exactly.
immediately. If such happen in some Muslim speaking countries, which I have seen their records, is either castration or killing. Let them feel the pain so that next person wouldn't try it again as a deterrent. So from this angle, I think we are supposed to call it a wrap on today's program. If you enjoyed this smooth ride today, as the Lord has brought it before your viewing pleasure, everyone watching BGI TV current newspaper headlines today, I want to say a big thank you to you. And as usual, there is a question I want to leave, which I will need your answers on the comments section. What is that joy you give to others and you expect them to give to you? Check your character and attitude. My name is Morire Rebila Lawal. Have a wonderful time.
It's a pleasure. And my name is Ige Olalekon. You have a nice day ahead.